How do I load data into a Qlik Sense business app?
Data sources can be added to apps and transformed into actionable insights. We have already logged into Qlik Sense Business, selected the catalog link, and navigated to the group space. We can see an app, but no data. Let's minimize the tenant navigation menu by clicking the icon in the left corner. We could upload data into the space, or we might choose to upload data directly into our app. Let's start with the space. Click the Add New button in the upper right. See opportunities to create new content and collaborate with others, which you can learn more about in other how-to videos. We're going to add new data, and we have options to load data files or create database connections. Choosing Connect Data displays a dialog with some commonly used connection methods that can be selected to start the process. Visit the Qlik Continuous Classroom to learn more about database connections. Let's click the X in the corner to close the dialog and choose Data File to access the data load window. We could drag and drop files or click the Browse button to search for data files on a local drive. Then select one or several files and click the Open button. When processing is complete, see the data file listed in the Upload window. To complete the upload process, we need to choose a space. Since we are in the group space, we see that by default. We can click the drop-down and choose another space, but let's leave this. To finish, we could click the Upload button, which will add the selected data file to the group space, or Upload and Analyze, which will load the file into the data manager of a new app. Then we could immediately begin making data associations and building visualizations. We will look at the data manager later. For now, let's click Upload. See a success message when uploading is complete, and notice our data file is displayed in the group space. We can click the ellipsis of the data file to add it to a collection or edit information like the name of the file. Let's leave this by clicking again to close the list. Each space has a Manage Space button on the right. Let's click that and select Data Sources from the drop-down. Notice the data file we just uploaded is listed in the Data File section. When we scroll down, there are no data connections listed. However, we have another opportunity to add connections. Let's scroll back up and click the Add File button to access the Upload window. Just like before, we have the option to drag files onto the drop area or click the Browse button to navigate to the data files. This time, we are going to drag and drop. After locating the files on a local drive, we can select one or hold down the keyboard Control key and select several. Then hold a click on a selected file and drag over to the drop area. We can see the newly added data files listed once processing is complete. We can continue adding data files, but let's click the Upload button. Again, see the success message and notice our data files are added to the list. We can click the ellipsis associated with a data file to access a drop-down where we could duplicate the data file. Move will allow us to associate the file with a different space, or Delete, which will remove all instances. Let's leave this and click the Back button to return to the group space. Notice we now see 3 data files available to this space. Let's launch the Upload Data app to add our data. Data can be added to newly created apps, as in this case, or apps that have already had data configured and charts built. Since this is a newly created app without any data added, we see the overview with options to use the Data Load Editor, which is an option intended for data architects who are comfortable working directly with Qlik's data load scripting syntax. Another option for adding data is to select Data Catalog, where we could choose from all data available to our tenant. Notice on the right, we see spaces data are associated with. If we want others to have access to data located in the personal space, we would need to move it to the desired shared space. If a space is shared with others, they must have Can Edit Space access to access data associated with that space. Data governance allows Can Edit users to create their own apps and apply data from the shared space. To learn more about managing space access, watch How Do I Share My Apps in Qlik Sense Business. Let's click the Cancel button and go back to the app overview. We may also opt to drag and drop data files onto the Files and Other Sources pane. Instead, let's click in that box to access the Add Data screen. By default, we are in New, where we again have opportunities to drag and drop data files or connect to a data source. The navigation on the left has opportunities for manual entry, where we could type data into a table. The Existing Connections drop-down shows our current space by default. We could click this and choose a different space from this tenant. Let's leave this on Group Space and click on Data Files to display folder shortcuts of data files for the group space. Let's click the Data Files folder to see the files that we have just uploaded. Selecting a data file will take us to the table view, which corresponds with the worksheet in the data file. We can click or unclick the boxes next to the tables and columns that we wish to upload into this app. When we have our data selected, click the Next button in the bottom corner. The resulting Data Manager view presents each table as a bubble, where the size of the bubble is proportional to the number of records or rows in that table. We can click the Add Data plus sign in the left corner at any time and use the same process to add more data to our app. Next steps would include making data associations, select Load Data, and then we could go to our sheet and begin building visualizations. You can learn more about making these associations in other how-to videos. Visit the Qlik Continuous Classroom to explore additional Qlik Sense capabilities and begin your journey down a learning path for a higher level of mastery. A good follow-up to this how-to is the learning module titled Data Load Basics.